are you curious about mortgage forbearance, and what do you do with this? What's it going to look like? What happens if you get to the end of the term and you can't catch up yet? What are your options, and how does this affect your mortgage in the future? Well, tune in. Heather McClaren, licensed Arizona Realtor with Long Realty. We're here for the 5 at 5, and I want to introduce Chelci Clarke. She's a licensed mortgage lender with Long Mortgage. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Heather, for having me. I appreciate it. Forbearance is definitely a hot question recently, and a lot of people don't really understand how it works or what it's going to do or affect them with potentially selling their home or refinancing. So the only way I know how to do it is break it down in numbers. So I'm trying to do it a little simple so you can follow me. Sure. But just imagine your mortgage is $1,500 a month.
Okay.
And your family member, who there's 2 of you in the house, one of them loses their job or gets laid off. And so they go to their servicer and they ask for forbearance. Well, I want to be really clear. Forbearance is not forgiveness. They're basically just allowing you to waive your payments for this moment. And normally that length of time is about 6 months. So the 6-month time frame, they'll allow you to forbear your payment or not pay. So what this does is it's going to compile over the 6-month time frame, and it's going to essentially be chunked together in kind of like a balloon payment or an all-in-one payment. So once your 6 months are up, they're going to now ask you for the $9,000 that should have been paid over the 6-month period, plus the $1,500 payment that's your current, that's due that month. So that's $10,500 that they're like, hey, I want my money.
Yeah.
Which, you know, for a lot of people, if you were out of work, how are you supposed to save those assets?
Yeah.
To pay that? So it gets a little jumbled up. So essentially, some servicers, not all, and this is just a good key question to ask if you're even thinking about forbearance, is would they allow you to chunk those payments up that are now due over time?
Right.
Now, some servicers allow for a 12-month period for that, which means that your added payment from those 6 months are going to be added to the mortgage payment. So your payment was $1,500, and for those 6 months, you didn't pay a payment at all. So break that up over 12 months, and you get $875. So you're going to add that to your $1,500 payment, which is $2,375. So that's your new mortgage payment for the next year.
Yeah. And what happens if someone gets 2 months into that and they're like, oh, I can't pay that? Are they going to get foreclosed on or something, or what? Will the bank help?
Yes. So not necessarily a foreclosure right away. They'll go through the typical foreclosure steps. But essentially, when you're in that 6 months of forbearance, it will not affect your credit negatively. You're kind of going to give a little leeway there. However, once it's time to pay back those costs, you know, if you're late on your payment, it's going to hit your credit negatively.
Yeah.
It could turn into a collection. They could file that piece to the collection agency. And forbearance is not for everyone. I think those who are going to use it should really need it, like they don't have money for, you know, food or to take care of their children, then I understand. And that could be really hard to decide, but forbearance is going to be, I have a feeling, a lot of people who shouldn't probably be using the program because they really don't know are going to be ended up using it, and it's going to cause some problems. But basically, when it comes to the payoff, if you're going to sell your home or you're going to refinance your house, just understand that that balloon payment or whatever's left over within that 6 months you did not pay, it's going to be added to the payoff.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you had $250,000 as your loan amount before, they're going to add that $10,000 to it for your payoff.
That makes sense. Yeah, I wondered about that too. I'm like, what if right in the middle something happens and you need to sell? So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be part of the payoff. Okay. Well, and when I looked at my lender stuff because I was curious what the process was. Are people having to apply for things or whatever? And it was so easy. It was just like click here, and then it was like different options, but we'll discuss it later. Don't worry. just do this. And so I was like, well, that's a little scary if you don't know what's coming, you know?
Exactly. It's good to be educated. So it was a good question, Heather. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Well, thanks for sitting down with us. I appreciate that so much. And we'll have your contact info in the comments if people have further questions about that.